Hello and welcome to today's video. My name's Haley and today we're talking all about the 20th SIDDHI state of presence. And this gene key is called the sacred Om. Presence is one of my favorite words. If you've watched any of my videos, you've also heard me say that one of my favorite words is omniscience. So yes, omniscience, presence, and probably love are my favorite words. Kind of choosy, but anyways, every time I see the word, I kind of smile. So yes, the SIDDHI state of presence. I'm excited to dive into this because I have a bit of bias towards it. Although ironically enough, the enlightened person who is truly in the SIDDHI state of presence has no bias, right? So I am not an example fully of this. I'm simply just annotating Richard Rudd's notes on what he has to say about presence. And yeah, I think an important thing I try to remind everyone for these SIDDHI state videos is we are talking about enlightenment, which is no small feat. And it's also ironically escaping the confines of time and space, which means it also escapes the confines of language. So these SIDDHI state videos are purely for the purpose of opening a can of worms that can't be solved. So don't let this get into your head too much. And also, the chasing of enlightenment ironically only makes the person further from it. So this is just meant to be a fun, silly dialogue talking about something that can't be talked about. His first line in this, I forgot. He said, "There is very little that can be said about it." True. This is applicable to all SIDDHI states once again. Presence, he says, is the underlying nature of being. And he actually emphasizes here that really it should be called the presence, not just presence, because putting the article of the, this title of the before the word presence, gives us this distinct impression that this state of consciousness has nothing to do with an individual, which is true, right? This is an all-encompassing, this is the presence, applicable to everything and all because it's the realization of one. It is the manifestation of the presence of the divine through a human instrument. And I love that line because he kind of playfully reminds us that we are just instruments for divine consciousness to flow through, to put that creative life force through, to put the presence through. Obviously most of us have forgotten this, that we're simply an instrument for the divine to use in order to serve the whole. The whole includes the self, right? Me and everyone. And most of us genuinely think we are separate selves here to serve our own selves, make more money, get more fancy cars, more vacations, more this, more that, more coffee, more chocolate cake, whatever it is. So most of us are operating in lack of the awareness that we are simply human instruments that are here to be utilized for the divine to channel through and express itself in beautiful ways. And so for the rare people who have come into remembrance of this true remembrance that they are here to be used by the divine, and to truly remember is more than just conceptual, right? To truly remember would mean a person also acts in accord with the truth. So the people that are in full gnosis of this SIDDHI state of presence, they are living out their lives with 100 precise presence, you guys. Not one single moment of their day is spent in mental activity and monkey-mindedness. Not 1 minute of their day is spent unconsciously engaging in a reactive conversation or marinating in a low vibration. This person is fully awakened, fully present all of the time. There's a silencing of mental activity. And so, you know, when I read all this, I kind of think of Eckhart Tolle because of all these kind of spiritual thought leaders. He's definitely one that has always stuck out to me in the sense that, well, first of all, he talks so slow. I don't know if that makes him seem more enlightened, but to me, I kind of get the feeling that he's definitely like on a really high vibe. Like this guy is pretty much zero ego. And that's just the vibe I get from him, that he's so eternally present in this moment, right? He's just like so there when he's speaking. But yeah, I invite you to contemplate who's someone in your life. Again, maybe they're not fully enlightened, but who's that person when you go get coffee with them, they're like just at coffee with you. They're not like running through their to-do list and like, oh yeah, I'm like texting while they talk to you, or like checking that guy out while you're talking to them. Who's like fully there with you? You know, when you're with that person, time kind of stops and it feels super fast, but also super short. And just like it doesn't even make sense. It's like you've exited the concept of time. Who's that person that gifts you that gift of presence when you're with them? I think it's important to contemplate this because this is the energy, that lightheartedness, that full cup kind of feeling, that engagement, that upward spiral of energy and conversation that you feel with that person that comes to mind is what this person in the Siddic state of presence has all of the time. It's pretty crazy to think about. And this person isn't thinking about it because once again, they have a silence of mental activity. They're so caught up in the feeling and the smelling and the tasting and the touching and the seeing of the moment that they have no time, space, or energy for this mental activity. The smallest thing, such as a leaf or a stone, is understood to have more life within it than all of the greatest ideas of man. So in having such a truly silent, peaceful mind, this person is able to connect in more avenues than just language. Think about that, right? We so often talk about bilingual, trilingual, oh, how many languages can you communicate in? Imagine being able to communicate in a language that doesn't even exist or is not currently acknowledged as a language. This person literally connects and communicates with plants, with stones, with nature. I mean, that's crazy. And this is because, again, their silenced mind has allowed them to enter an entire new dimension where connection is above time and space. It exceeds what we currently understand connection and communication to be. And again, don't try to understand this. A lot of what I'm saying is meant to just be received in here because we're talking about acidic frequency, which once again is not logical. You may find yourself sitting in the same spot for 3 days, and it may seem as though not a single second has passed. This is also probably why I thought of Eckhart Tolle, because if I remember correctly, he had a phase where he was like sitting on a bench for a ridiculous amount of time and just super entrenched in the now moment, like bathing in bliss. The man was literally just sitting on a bench. And this is because he was experiencing this acidic state of presence, right? He still is. Once this dawns, it never undawns. Acidic state is eternal. Presence is also extraordinary. Extraordinary? Extraordinary. You know what I'm trying to say. Presence is also extraordinary in that it can be felt by anyone. Even those that are low vibrational, even though those that are angry. For instance, if someone who's really stressed out from work and I just got in a traffic jam and they rush into the cafe, yeah, I need a coffee, da, da, da. And let's just say, for example, the barista is fully present with that person. Yeah, what can I get for you? Okay. And they genuinely ask, like, how was your day? This person who's acting neurotic will come into vicinity of the barista that is present, and it will quite literally change their frequency. They will, even for a split second, snap out of their neuroticism, out of their anger and their stress, and be brought into the blissful frequency that the barista is emitting. So this is really powerful because it can be felt by anyone, even a person that is on a completely different wavelength. This is a frequency that attunes others around it to its frequency. It literally raises people up. So when someone like Eckhart Tolle walks into the room, the entire frequency of the whole room is lifted a little bit higher, is invited into that kingdom of presence. And that is a really powerful gravitas to hold. It's also a really beautiful gift to give people. In being present, you gift other people the opportunity to be present as well. Because, as you know, if you've ever been stressed or angry or agitated or hangry or annoyed, sometimes it doesn't seem like an obvious option to be present until you're witnessing the example of truth, of presence in another person. It's a kind of silent ease that pervades the aura of the person and radiates out into all of creation. Beautifully said. And then a little bit later down here, he says, the presence is the deepening of your breath. So I read that and I thought, something practical. The presence is the deepening of your breath, and the word is in the English language can literally be translated to the equal sign in mathematics. The presence equals the deepening of your breath, meaning the deepening of your breath equals presence. Meaning, if I deepen my breath, I quite literally start to engage in presence. And this is true, right? You can even try this right now. If I tell you, let's take a deep breath, inhale through your nose, 3, 2, 1, hold at the top, and exhale, 3, 2, 1. In order to do that activity, you quite literally have to pay attention, which is presence, paying attention. It's that simple. Awareness, presence, paying attention, all the same thing. You literally have to pay attention in order to deepen your breath. So this is a really nice practical tool that he kind of mentions here. And it's accessible to everyone right now. And it's free. You don't have to pay someone and go to their course or their trauma workshop or, take the online one-to-one coaching thing. Even though all of those things are great, this is free and it's available to literally everyone. It's a human birthright. It's also an animal birthright, right? Breathing, deeply breathing. So if really any of this gene key, the 20th gene key, the sacred Om, kind of is like, interesting to you, I'd like to become more self-assured, which is the gift frequency that we talked about in the last video. Or, I'd like to climb my way out of just living in this top layer of reality and get into the deep, meaningful trenches of life. I'd like to climb out of superficiality, which is the shadow frequency. Then you can start doing this right now by deepening your breath. And I guess just the last thing I'll say about that is there's kind of this current obsession with breath work and breathwork workshops. And you can very well attend the workshop. You can also very well sit down and say, I'm going to do breath work. I'm going to deepen my breath, and then sit here and or you can actually incorporate this very simple technique into your day in a way that's even more accessible. For instance, you can promise yourself every time before I eat, I'm gonna do one deep breath. You don't even have to allot extra time in your schedule to do this. It's literally going to take you 10 seconds. So there's no excuse here is basically what I'm trying to say. Because I know there's that person watching, oh, I don't have time to wake up in the morning and do breath work. Well, you don't have to. You can literally deepen your breath as you go to work, as you're driving your car, as you're pausing between sentences and talking to a friend. So yes, deepening the breath is equivalent to igniting presence. The true SIDDHI state is one of complete relaxation. And again, this is in reference to someone's at my door. Okay, they'll figure it out. I'm busy. I'm locked into this video right now. Yes, the true SIDDHI state is one of complete relaxation. And so he's talking about all SIDDHI states here. And specifically presence, just like all of them, is complete relaxation. So naturally, again, if you think about the deepening of the breath, you'll notice the body starts to literally relax. Try it. You cannot deepen your breath and feel more stressed at the same time. They're mutually exclusive. So as you deepen your breath, you start to relax more and more and more. And the SIDDHI state is a journey of never-ending, eternally expanding relaxation. It's like melting. It's coming into a great ease. Oh, okay, I love this line. This is my favorite line in the whole chapter. The presence can also be seen as an intense softness in a person's gaze. So, if you've watched any of these videos, you've heard me reference Ben many times. Ben is this pretty much enlightened dude that I met at a random crystal shop in Barcelona. And he had these eyes that were conventionally beautiful as well. They were blue. But besides the color and the shape, there was a deepness, and this is exactly what Richard Rudd is alluding to here. The presence can also be seen as an intense softness in a person's gaze. It's this paradox of intensity and softness. And this can be in any eye color, and it's extremely beautiful, shocking, and actually makes the person witnessing it more present. I know because I witnessed it in Ben. And this is interesting because this is also the kind of gaze that you can observe in moments, fleeting moments of love, of unconditional love. This is the kind of gaze that you can witness when you're speaking to your partner in those first few dates and you're just like so caught up in the moment. This kind of deep, intense softness in their gaze like portals you into a new world, and it stops time. So if you've ever had the privilege to witness that, it is such a gift, and the person with this SIDDHI state of presence has this 24/7, because once again, it's eternal. To the person immersed in the presence, absolutely nothing matters. And I like that because there's a little unintentional play on words here. Nothing matters. Literally nothing in the 3D, in the material, in the matter world is of importance or value to them. No things matter. What matters is the energy. And that's why they're emitting such a high frequency and why they often receive such high frequency beings around them and raise low frequencies in their presence up to their level. I'm like, let me take a deep breath. I've just been yapping away here. Okay, so then he kind of goes on this rabbit hole about the seven sacred bodies of humanity, which I'm not really going to get into because this is a beautiful metaphor to understand like the levels of ascension, even though, again, it's kind of silly to think about this in a linear fashion because it's not linear. That's just our ego and the way it's perceiving time that makes this spiritual journey have a start point, a middle point, and an end point. In reality, all of this escapes time, right? Even the gene keys, even from shadow to gift to siddhi, is purely to satisfy the logical mind so that we can kind of get our heads around this. So I'm going to kind of skip over this 7 sacred bodies section. So if you're interested in diving deeper on that, you can either listen to the gene keys or buy the book yourself and dive in. Yes, and I'm going to skip over here. These people no longer fit into society. What does he mean by that? Well, what we talked about earlier, the person who's immersed in presence, nothing matters. That means desires to go shopping, desires to even have sex, anything desire-based is like, I'm in it for the moment. There's nothing I need, right? This person is completely satisfied with just being, which puts an end to all desire. And society as we know it is built upon desire, right? You go out into town, people are selling you things. Oh, eat this, drink this, buy this. This new technology, you need this massage, definitely. It's all about consumption. And this person is completely satiated right now and has no desire to partake in consumerism, meaning that their place in society is not quite fitting how it used to. And so, I read this and I was like, what? They don't even desire sex? Sounds terrible. And of course, this is my ego talking. And you who's watching, if this kind of alarms you as well, it's the separate self of each of us that finds this as scary and terrifying. But our soul would actually love to bathe in the presence of right now and the beingness 24/7. But yeah, I have to admit, I read that and I was like, well, this right here proves that I'm not close, because I very much still desire, coffee, among other things. I'll just say that. Although I am doing a break with coffee right now, which is, a whole thing. Anyways, last little thoughts here. Yes. The name of this chapter is called The Sacred Om for a reason. And that is because when this presence dawns, there's this primordial sound at the heart of the world, which is A-O-M. Om. You've probably seen this kind of like westernized and put on t-shirts and like spiritual bookshops and stuff. Or if you've ever gone to a yoga class, you might do some of this breathing and chanting. It's the primordial sound at the heart of the world, the sacred Om. And when this siddhi dawns, the reason that this 20th siddhi is called the sacred Om is because this is the sound that is heard, supposedly. Take it or leave it, right? This is what Richard Rudd is offering us. He says it's a soundless sound, connecting all of life, suffusing all of creation, and bringing everything back into pure existential reality. So I'm not quite sure if he means this literally, like you literally hear Om when you dawn into the reality of presence, or if he's trying to be metaphorical here. But either way, that's up for you to decide if it resonates or not, since I know that's a little bit more woo-woo. Okay, and the very, very, very last thought. I rewrote this quote from the middle of the chapter, which is, only silence can ever approach the truth. So, with that being said, I'm now going to be silent and allow you who has just watched this video to contemplate the presence and what it means for you. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this most recent Gene Keys video. I just wanted to come on here and announce the website that I built called remodelu.com. And it's all about helping ladies heal from eating disorders, body dysmorphia, severe and chronic anxiety. I myself, if you're not familiar with my story, used to be a full-time model and have firsthand dealt with all the atrocious byproducts that come with these mental disorders. And it's so much more than mental, right? It completely takes over your physical 3D life. Gosh, I remember not even being able to go out to dinner with friends, just like so much anxiety, counting every single calorie, overworking out to compensate for the food I'd just eaten, and it started to take over my entire life. I myself embarked on a healing journey, and after a few arduous years of that, I finally feel like I'm in a place to offer the wisdom I have downloaded through my own experience to any lady in need. So if you struggle with any of this and you're curious to know more and potentially work one-on-one with me, you can check out the website, which is linked in the description below. On there you can find more information and book a free 20-minute intro call to see if this resonates. Sending you guys so much love and aloha. Go eat some good food today.